Everyone, and welcome to, well, what is today actually? This isn't quite Healy for beginners and beyond, and it's not Tuesday for Tech Tip, but we are actually going to kind of just go with the flow today, and we're going to do mainly a tech tip, mainly an open chat-based Q&A here. Since we were not able to do Tech Tip Tuesday this week, we're kind of calling this Tech Tip Thursday. But we'll throw in a little bit of some additional screen shares and stuff like that on specific topics if you want to do a little deeper dive on some things here as well. But I'm Jake Barron, your host for today, head of operations for the Americas for Healy, and I have my amazing co-host Freddie Perez on the call, tech expert, and we have Taylor helping out in the chat from our tech support team. So thank you, Taylor. And I'm not sure Ken Close may or may not be joining later today on the call, but if he was able to join, it'll be a nice surprise later. So, but we will go ahead and we'll get started. So any questions you have, go ahead and put them in the chat. If it's kind of slow in the chat, we can kind of we'll do a little bit of some screen share on some important, there's been a lot new in the last 2 weeks, just since Healy World Meets the World. New programs available, new products coming soon, a new Healy edition coming soon on April 12th, the Residence Plus. So really anything, new back office updates. If you were on What's Up Wednesday yesterday, we did a little in-depth training on the new features that are available. So on this call today, if anyone wants to go a little bit deeper into that as well, hey, there's Ken, welcome.
Sorry, guys. I had a little technical difficulty. It was like, why are we not getting on board here? Here we go. Woo. Okay.
Well, you're here. That's what matters. Hi. So we were just explaining the little different format for today's call. Definitely not our typical Thursday Healy for beginners and beyond. So we're going to focus mainly on the chat, but we'll also help out on specific topics as we go. Maybe show some screen shares and kind of explain things a little bit deeper on this call today. So Absolutely. Go ahead and start putting those questions in the chat and we will get started. So.
Also, guys, hey, everybody that's on here today, if you would just do me a favor, invite somebody. Grab that little link right there in the call, invite somebody to come on, because I promise you, if they don't have a question, somebody else's question may stimulate, new knowledge within them. So invite somebody. Let's get some people on here.
Yeah, right. We got a whole hour, so we got lots of time for questions.
That's right. First question.
Right.
Could we talk about MagHealy? Sure. So look at the word MagHealy. I love that word already right there. Magnetic energy. So like our coil, right? How familiar is everybody with the coil itself and what's happening with the coil? Because I hear so many times, oh yeah, I got the coil, I don't need to use the wires anymore. No, guys, that's not the point. If we're looking at the actual point and the purpose of microcurrent, we're looking at the purpose of that microcurrent and the studies and its benefit. It's ATP production, it's protein synthesis, it's amino acid transport. So you're going to get that maximized benefit from that. Coil, a different way of interface. Magnetic energy, a different way of interface. The MagHealy is a different way of interfacing. And then propagating content within water, within environment, within you. So in terms of talking about the MagHealy, it's a new device. We're going to have a lot of information and content. We don't have a lot yet, but guys, fill in. What's out there?
I think the second half of this month is going to be the first of a series of videos that and trainings that Marcus is going to be doing on the MagHealy. So you'll notice that there is 4 different applications available, which is kind of explained. You have the classic, you have the water, the atmosphere, and the McMakin frequencies as well. So there's 4 distinct sort of things that you can do, and it's a companion for the Healy itself. It doesn't, you can use it on your own, but it certainly does, just like the coil is a companion for the Healy. Everything is centered around the Healy device itself. And then any other accessories like this, the MagHealy, the coil, the watch, all kind of surround it as well and have different uses and benefits. So they're really all meant to be used together as one happy family. So
Exactly. You know, I as a fitness trainer and coach and all the stuff that I did in the fitness arena, when you're working with the body, there's not just one thing. You can't just drink water and eat protein and say, okay, got it. You know, there's more than that. The mindset is a big part of it as well. Exercise program, but with the Healy being the center focal point, the Healy itself, the quantum sensor itself, its purpose is that interface on the within the energy field, within the quantum field. And so there's not a replacement for that. We're just going to accent its operation and function by these other products. And I think, and do it very well, by the way. All right.
okay, let's get into an actual tech question here from Dr. Colleen. Welcome, welcome. She's having an issue with her resonance, and she says it has not been saving scans for a while now. She did do a full sync, which hadn't not been done in a while, but it's still not saving the new ones. So she's asking if we have any tips for her why it possibly wouldn't be saving scans. And Taylor in the chat asked if maybe it was possibly in demo mode as a possible thing there, but she's not in demo mode, and she's doing full syncs, and it's not saving anything new. So anything that we could offer her as possible thing to check for that.
First in that, so in your blue dot, first thing is try logging out of the blue dot and back in, because if you log out and then go to log back in and it won't let you, it says something about like, you know, import master key. And then you go to import your master key and it says import failed. There could be an account link issue. So we want to make sure log out, log back in. And then because the logging in and out process with the Blue Dot app, then that links it to you, because anybody can load the Blue Dot app on their smartphone, right? Anybody can have that app. It just won't do anything. But then when you log in, it's going to then try to associate a access or a code to access your cloud account, because you have a cloud account up there. So backing up requires somewhere for that to go. If you want to back up your scans, they got to come somewhere. Now, if you're doing a scan and it just doesn't even show up in your lists, if that's happening, that sounds like that is a app malfunction. It sounds like it's an app malfunction. So you may want to delete the app and reload the app properly, a good app. So give that a test drive. Yeah, that's something that remember, the app's job is to facilitate all of the functions that you're trying to accomplish right there. So creating a scan, then it's got to put it somewhere. And if that's not happening, then that command is failing.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, Ken, and how you doing, by the way?
Hey.
Yeah, is also make sure whenever you're putting that client into your system, is that you're ticking the little box there to have it sync, right? So that whenever you're doing the resident or the aura scan, that it's actually going to sync into the list underneath that person's name.
Yeah.
And also, there is a new version of the Analyze app that was just released about less than 24 hours ago. So if this has been happening for a while, I would just also try to update to make sure it's to the newest version as well. I know a lot of people have the Analyze app set to auto update when a new release comes out, but if you don't, you can go to the App Store and just check to make sure you have the newest version as well. I don't know if it could be something related to that, but it's worth trying, depending on how long you had the issue.
You'll always want to have the current versions of the software starting with your operating system on your smart device. Starting there, working your way up to the current version of the app. App developers create updates or new versions to match the new versions of the operating systems. app. They have to, as well as new versions of the app to work out bugs or malfunctions or stuff within the app. But every time there's an operating system that gets upgraded, then app developers have to do the same. You can kind of see the sequence, the handshaking. So in other words, if you have old operating system on your smart device, and there's a new update for the app itself, maybe a couple of new updates, and you haven't updated your operating system, then eventually certain things on the app will no longer function because the new operating system hasn't been put on your phone. So you see how that handshaking works. We got to make sure we understand the principle.
Yes, she also just asked if she's out of cloud storage on her iPhone, could that cause the problem? So not the local storage, but the cloud storage.
No,
Yeah.
the cloud storage, for an iPhone is simply just a spot in which you can safeguard things that is in the memory of your smart device. What'll happen though, what will compromise the function of your app is if your smart device's memory storage is low. So in other words, your smart device might be a 16 gig, a 64 gig. In my case, it's a 256 gig. But whatever your storage is, if you've consumed more than 75% of that storage on your smart device, then you can start having problems with your apps. Not just your apps, people. You can also, like when you're doing a text, you're typing a text, you'll see that maybe you type some things and all of a sudden on the screen it stops, right? And it can't catch up, and then all of a sudden it catches up. So these are some symptoms of your smart device slowing down in the access to the memory because memory is not available anymore. So take a look at how much memory is on your device first. Okay. How do you clear a building? Just dynamite, TNT, maybe, I don't know, explosives of some sort. No. Okay. Especially determining times needed. So this is, I'm assuming you're looking at setting a building up as a client within the blue dot, and then running the frequencies and such. Healy's giving advice or parameters when it comes to the people. But when it comes to a building or some sort of a structure, we can run those things much longer. I mean, my personal opinion, my personal activity, if I'm not using my Healy and I'm working on clearing my house and I'm going on vacation, I'll leave it there and do it all the time I'm gone. So as long as that battery's going, I'm going to let it run. But, really, let me give you some fundamentals. When it comes to the information field, it is upregulated in an instant. When we move beyond the speed of time, now we're in the information field. What's this? I mean, when we move beyond the speed of light, now we're in the information field. That's how fast it operates. So when we upregulate the information field, it's instantaneous. So if we've found frequencies that are necessary for aligning or balancing a building or a person or an animal or a plant, and we run those, we hit send, we hit start, it's going to be an instantaneous uptake to the information field. Now, the density of the building itself has history to it, but it's still, the blueprint's already done. It's going to rain down on that structure from now on. If the structure is subjected to old patterns, old behaviors, old influence, that energy is going to come back. So keep running it. You don't have to limit yourself in terms of time. Run it as long as you wish. In my opinion, this is my opinion. Remember, I am a member just like most of you guys. I don't represent corporate, but I do represent experience.
Yeah, good point. Actually, there's actually on the Heal Advisor Analyze the manual, it doesn't specifically mention a building, but it does mention real estate. So, similar type thing here. So if you actually I know a lot of people, it's probably been a while since gone through the actual manual, but okay, here. So if you look at what we got going on here. This is page 15 of the Heal Advisor Analyze manual. And there's a note here at the bottom. These are, of course, the different transmission durations. And there's a note about that these are calculated according to the golden ratio. But it says a transmission time of 12 minutes or more is generally recommended when transmitting to massive objects such as healing stones and real estate. So anything from 12 minutes to hours, really, or days is kind of as what Ken was just saying. So there's certainly no reason to kind of do anything less on such a massive object. So
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So there was let me go back up here. There's a question here. This is interesting, especially with the new programs that just came out. It says, can you let us know if the daylight savings time makes a difference with the new program? So I'm assuming they're referring to the natural cycle. And if you purchased natural cycle already, I'm sure you've probably gone into the Heal Advisor app to the little natural cycle module where it calculates your trigger date or start time for that. And, you know, it asks you to put in where you live, and then it calculates the date and time based off of that. So as far as I understand, since it knows where you live and what time zone you're in, it's sort of factoring all that into that calculation as well. But if you want to ask the inventor of this directly, you can join us on What's Up Wednesday next Wednesday. Nuno Nina will be on that call. And that'd be a great question to put in there as well, just to get his feedback on that too. So
yeah, don't miss it. Don't miss it. He's going to be on.
No,
yeah.
we're very lucky to have him join us on that call next week. So, but also there is, for anyone that's looking for more information on the natural cycle, of course, it's a brand new program, but there's a couple key resources just want to share here that maybe not everyone has seen or is aware of. But if you go to, real quick, okay, this is the Backoffice. And I know everyone here is probably familiar with Backoffice, but in the download section, if you just look at for the Healy manual, there's an updated section in there, a whole page on, actually, I think like 2 pages of the manual are now on natural cycle, and it talks about the different programs and applications. I don't think it says anything about daylight savings time, but it's definitely good to, if you haven't looked at the manual since natural cycle was added, it's good to check that out and just see the information that's available there. And then also on our Vimeo page, a lot of you got this video from, there was a newsletter that went out on April 2nd. They kind of had a recap of Frequencies and Friends. And there was a link in there to the flyer regarding natural cycle, then also the natural cycle training video here that you'll see on the screen. So there's about 11-minute video here that kind of takes you through the natural cycle and how it's calculating everything as well. So that's available on our Vimeo page. That video was also linked in that newsletter as well. But if you can't find that or didn't get it, you can get to it directly from this Vimeo page too. So
isn't that great? You know, I want to remind everybody about something that has to do with time and calendars, and this is a man-made thing, by the way. Calendars and the clock and the daylight savings time, we created that as a way of tracking the body and the setting and the rising of the sun and the orbit of the earth. We didn't invent that. We just participate with it. And this is an important thing to keep in mind. We participate with it. So the clock might say something, but the body is going to participate with the orbiting and the setting and the rising of the sun. The activation of certain organs is going to be based on that circadian rhythm, not so much the clock. So yeah, and of course the software takes into account the time when it's asking you, so that it can interface with that. But I mean, I would love to hear Nuno's explanation on that. So we'll definitely put that in one of the questions.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here.
I often talk to people who are talking about they're having some struggles or stuff with their body. And I get to know a little bit more about them, and I find out that they are a shift worker with maybe a big organization of some sort. They may be working nights. So these are some real things that we have to look at when we're looking at the health of our body, because we're very subjected to circadian rhythm. So keep that in mind too, that, base your life on this rising and setting of the sun. Your body's going to kind of go along that. We typically influence artificial things such as light, staying up late, being on our computer. I don't know, maybe scrolling our social media, whatever. That has artificial influence on the body. So just keep that in mind if you're struggling with something.
Okay. Well, let's see. Lost my place here. Let's scroll back up and let's see what we have.
Yeah. Who's with us on the tech today?
Taylor.
Taylor's doing an excellent job. Dixie had a question in there, and she's done a marvelous job in responding to that. And basically, it was talking about how some of the programs' names have changed and they've gone under different categories. So that's one thing to make sure you keep up to date. These calls are perfect for things like that. The Tech Tip Tuesday as well, so that if you think you're missing a program, it may not be missing. It may just be under a new label, like the creative homeopathy, for example.
Yeah. You guys, in your Blue Dot app, when you go to those databases, there's that little icon on the far right that you can click on that icon, because if the database has 364 components in the parentheses, it'll show you all 364 components that are in that database, and write them down if you're not sure if you got them all, but they're there. So you can go through those. And there's a lot of folks in Healy that maybe got their Healy that's just been great and using them and never gone on any of our calls, and suddenly they see things that are different. This is kind of a tough place to be in, because we want to stay up to date, and things are being changed with the apps as the evolution of Healy continues to transpire. And as Freddie said, the calls that we do try to keep people informed, but you can lead a horse to water, but plug in and let's try to get you guys informed.
So Fred had a little question in here about charging his watch and the need to have to continuously reposition it. Well, of course, if you have a watch or you don't know, when you take off one end of the band, you plug it in to charge it in a USB port. And so what happens, that USB port, if you've used it a lot, it may have loosened up a little bit. And because as Ken is showing you there, when you take that off, it is somewhat sensitive on that charging piece that comes off of the watch. One of the things that I've seen over the past couple of years with the watch is that if you're using a charging post, like a power adapter, so you see there, Ken is showing that up, it's only going to fit into the USB port a specific way to charge. And if that post, if you have it like sitting on a tabletop and you have it pointing up, then that piece that Ken is showing you is going to be down. That's going to keep it more stable. If you have your charging adapter or your post plugged into a wall socket, and then you plug that watch, so it's going to be a little bit of a pressure that's going to take, and it could not engage the sensors there on that charging of the watch with your power adapter. So just keep those little tips in mind when you go to charge your watch.
Yeah, the different things about you see your what's called a USB cord, right? The USB cord's got like a square box on it, and inside that USB port, you see like usually there's either white or a black, or could be a yellow bar in there. So there's an empty space. You can kind of see there's an empty space at the top, and then there's some sort of a bar or something in the way there. So what that does is that forces you to plug in whatever device you're plugging it into, or whatever you're plugging this cord in. It's called polarity. it forces you to plug it in either this way or this way, you know, you follow me? So that bar is either up or down. It forces you to plug it in a particular order. It's called polarity. The Healy Watch it's got the same electrical contacts inside of it as the USB cord. It's got the same electrical contacts. You see those two little bars right there. However, if you'll notice, it's hard to show it here. There is, you can plug it into the charging port either direction. It's not polarized. It can plug in either direction. And so when you, if these metal contacts are not touching the charger metal contacts, it won't charge. So as Freddie was saying, sometimes plugging it in this orientation versus this orientation, right? You're not going to get, it won't charge in one way versus the other. You'll notice that. You charge it in backwards, the lights won't go on. It will not say it's charging. You plug it in correctly and it will say it's charging. Well, maybe that orientation is like this and it's going on and off, on and off. Okay. Turn your charger up the other direction if it's in a wall socket to where the pressure, or in other words, the weight of it is sitting going downward like this. And now it'll help make the connections inside. Okay. So you can change the orientation of your charging box in the wall. You just can't change the orientation of the Healy, of the watch plugged into it has to be in a specific orientation to charge. And you'll be able to tell that's happening because the charge indicator will come on the face of the watch. Hopefully that helps, guys.
No, those are great tips, because we've talked about it a little bit on some of these calls in the past where someone got a brand new watch, plugged it in, it didn't light up, and they thought it was broken, but no, that just needed to be flipped around in the other direction or sort of repositioned. So those are definitely excellent tips. So, yep. Okay.
All right.
Let's keep going here.
So there's a request here to show the picture of the natural cycle one more time.
So I think what they were referring to was the screen I was sharing earlier, because I don't think I showed an actual just straight up picture of it, but I put the link that I just put into the chat again is where the videos are related to natural cycle, both the training video and then also the sort of like the commercial, the natural cycle commercial as well is available on that page too. So I'll just show it again real quick, and while I'm at that, I'll show our YouTube page as well. That's certainly one of the other great resources. So let me go back to where
you know something, guys. I want to tell you how much I appreciate and am so beyond grateful for where we are today versus where we were 2 years ago, folks. This is a startup company. It's brand new. We're still tapping into the capabilities and demonstrating. People are coming up with new ideas all the time as to what Healy can do. And we're like, what? Wow. And so then we are evolving. And if you'll notice what Jake showed, what's in the back office, a new product is launched and almost instantly new content is being uploaded and available in the back office. Now that's not what was happening 2 years ago. So thank you very much for that, you guys. I mean, you guys are rocking it, Jake. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the Vimeo page, the Healy World official Vimeo page, and then it's kind of down here on the main. So you'll see there's some other, just in the last few days, newer videos that have come out. One on the Fast Start train, which is an excellent video. If you have questions about the new Fast Start program, which is really incredibly generous as well. Not only the Fast Start, but the ability for most people to restart, and then the dual start as well, depending on when you enroll. So those are great videos, easy to follow. And again, some of them are the recap videos on a global. These are the videos on this page are more for like the global sort of everybody in Healy around the world. So, but there's excellent videos to check out here. Almost all these same videos are on the Healy World official YouTube page as well. So this is the Healy World official page. And we have the Healy World Americas page, which is where we post the recordings of our Americas calls. But then there's also Healy World Official. Again, these are the videos that are more so for the whole world here. And you'll see that same fast start. Actually, just the teaser video is available on the YouTube page, but the full training video is available on the Vimeo side. That video is actually also available in the training section of Backoffice. So let me just, while I'm in Backoffice here too, if you go to business training, let me see if it logs me out or not. Oh, logged me out. Let me go back in real quick. So, okay, so back here, as I meant, you go to tools and then business training, scroll down. That fast start training video is available here as well. It's about 12 minutes long. And then there's some videos related to the compensation plan transition guide. And we're also working on 5 new back office training videos as well that are going to be made available depending on if you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, as far as walking you through the features and reports and all that kind of stuff that you need to know as far as back office goes. So anyway, we have the Vimeo page, we have the Healy World Official YouTube page, and then we have the Healy World Americas page. And this is where you'll find recordings of calls like the one we have here. I just uploaded earlier today, What's Up Wednesday from yesterday, so that recording is available. If you have questions about the new back office features, we did a training on that there, so you can kind of check that out. And then the excellent thing about all the videos that we post on here, if you click on this What's Up Wednesday video from yesterday, and then you scroll down to the show more, all the different sections are put into different chapters. So you can go straight to, okay, I want to know about the back office. You just click on this. It's going to take you and start playing the video right at the back office features. If you want to know more about the spring promo, the extension, the new Residence Plus edition, we covered all that on yesterday's call. And then you'll see at the very last part here, we also announced yesterday that Nuno Nina will be on the call. So again, just a reminder that it's a very important call. Excellent chance to hear directly from him on the new Natural Cycle programs. So if you have not already, subscribe to this channel. I would subscribe to both our channel, the Healy World Americas, and then also the Healy World Official page as well. And then make sure you click the little bell on the right side next to the subscribed link, and that will make sure you get a notification anytime a new video is posted. You'll see here at the top on mine, I have 5 new notifications, and these are all videos that we've added over the last 8 days. So new content's being added every week.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to add, kind of piggyback a little bit on what Ken had mentioned about, over the past couple of years. If you want to see a little peek, if you will, of what that really truly means, go back into that Healy World Official YouTube site, go back deep into the archives and see what was going on then versus today. And you're going to be amazed how many things that Healy and the support team and Jake and Ken and so many others that have contributed through this progress, right? Even though it's a startup company, when you review all this information, it looks like we've been here for years and years and years. And you'll see that the quality of things that we're putting out here, all of these tools, they're for you. They're for you to share with your prospects, for your team, to gain that knowledge, because you have access 24/7, right? I mean, in the beginning, we were like struggling to figure out what would be the best time we could get the most people to get the best messages, right? And that was changing on it seemed like a daily or even some cases an hourly basis. But no, just take the time, save these. And as Jake mentioned, click that little bell so you get notices. I mean, when you go in there and you see just this past What's Up Wednesday, my goodness. I mean, it's loaded with so much information. And if you missed it, it's okay. It's right here for you to review again.
Yeah, and if you go to the playlist section on here, all the different categories that we have are on here. So if you want to look at all just Tech Tip Tuesdays, you can go to view full playlist. And look, we got enough to keep you busy for quite a while. So and since new stuff is added every week, it's always going to stay fresh as well. But we actually, I forgot to mention, This is sort of a new little feature that we added last week, the support center basics. So Miguel from our tech support team made a couple of great, just quick videos of the basics. How do you create a support ticket? How do you reply to a support ticket? So we're going to kind of add to this as we go. And the little things that a lot of people, if you've never done it before, it's very helpful to kind of see what the process is. So we're going to, again, continue to add new playlists and new videos and new content as we go. Anything we think would be useful for everyone out there, we're going to continue to push to this page.
I saw
And
those.
some of those other, I'm sorry, Ken, go ahead.
I was just saying, I saw those, how to create a support ticket. It's funny how, there was times when we were building tools ourselves, and now we've got these cool stuff from the support group themselves. So this is great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, another success. I see Dr. Colleen followed the instructions we gave her, and now all of her scans are showing. So look at this. That's the whole reason why we just try to get as many people on these calls as possible, because we're able to solve these things live during these calls. Because of course, we've got Taylor working in the background, and all of us on this call, and all of you on this call participating as well with tips and feedback. So,
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
There's a question I got here. It's talking about, so it was sent privately, but her mom's phone was almost used up in storage, and the blue dot won't scan. So does she need to find the main JSON and reinstall it? So that the JSON is the master key, the extension for the master key. So the answer to that right there, first of all, is probably no. But when a phone, like I mentioned earlier, the memory is completely used up, then the function of the apps, not just Healy, but apps in general, being able to access the resources that they need from the smart device. Look at this smart device as a computer, and the computer having a CPU, or central processing unit, which is the brains of the whole activity. And then it has outside peripheral resources, such as a block of memory that it can use to store things and retrieve things from. It also has functions that operate the screen to show you the picture of the screen. Also to take inputs when you touch the screen, to say that that's a command function. All of this stuff is like a computer. It is a computer operating from its limited resources. It's limited. It's got a finite amount of memory on there. And when you consume the memory of the device, like I said, more than 75%, then what's going to happen is everything's going to slow down. Everything's going to malfunction. So you don't have to, necessarily delete the app and reinstall the master key. That's not the point. The point is to get back to the fundamental. We need to free up resources. So you need to free up resources. In other words, take all those videos of the grandbabies off of the phone and put them on a hard drive. Go get yourself a little scan disk or something like that. You can upload them to your computer, take them off the phone. I know you can't show them when you're at your nephew's house and show the grandbabies, but what do you want to do here? Do you want to use your Healy, or do you want to show the pictures of the grandbabies? I would say if you want to do both, then carry two devices, one just for your Healy and one for the grandbabies. How about that? Okay. So hopefully
another little suggestion, that's funny you mentioned that. I discovered yesterday, I was doing an update on my Apple 11, and it was telling me that my memory was really low. And that's exactly what I had to do, Ken. We got a bunch of grandbabies, but here's what I do, and it's just a suggestion. I have a Dropbox account, so that's not going to take up that room, that storage room that Ken's referring to, but you can access it from your phone. And not only that, but you got a bunch of grandkids like we do. We can put them by family, and you can file them and do all kind of cool things. But it frees up, and that's exactly what I did. I was amazed. Sometimes we just get caught up in the moment in life, and we don't realize. But it's a cool thing to go in there and check your storage on your smart device, so that you don't run into those kind of issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, when you take a picture on your phone or do a video, that's stored on the memory of the device, right? When you do a Facebook Live, that's not stored on the memory of your device. So there's difference, knowing the difference as to how that's operating. And if you don't know how that works, guess what? There's a YouTube out there that shows you a video on what that means. So go to YouTube and search, how do I free up memory on my smart device? Or more specifically, how do I free up memory on my Android? And there'll be somebody out there that did a video or 2 or 3 or 100 videos on how to do that. So we don't have to train on that. You know, we have another resource for that.
Mhm.
And just like why Jake has put so many things in YouTube, it makes it publicly accessible. And if you click that little bell up there, the reason I knew that those new videos from customer service on how to submit a ticket, the reason I knew was because I have that little bell clicked and I got a notification. I'm like, ooh, what's new? I got to go see. So I wouldn't watch those videos. So make sure you do that.
So here's a question in here from Sarah. Did I hear something about the Healy certification program for practitioners? Is there any new info on that, Jake?
No, I haven't heard anything new on that particular topic.
Okay, I hadn't either, so I was curious. And I'm not really understanding this next question. And from Cynthia, what if someone discovers they are allergic to, I'm thinking she meant nickel, after they've purchased the watch? So if Cynthia,
Yeah.
if you can maybe come in and give us a few more details on that question, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but if someone ever gets a watch and for whatever reason they have some sort of reaction or allergy, just put in a support ticket and our team will take care of you. We don't want anyone to have a bad experience with something like that. So okay, so next question here. Sarah got her Healy a week ago, and she's had ongoing Bluetooth issues. Right now, she can connect to the Blue Dot app, but when she tries to connect to the Pink Dot app, it asks her to input the serial number, which is the normal process to start. And it just went away. Okay, and then the only thing that happens is the field for the serial number turns red. And then if she selects the scan option, it opens up the camera on the phone, but it doesn't capture the QR code. So it's probably a newer iPhone that can't capture the QR code, but you should be able to type in the serial number by hand. And as far as if it's turning red, I know
that was kind of an issue from the past when it was
they
populating
said like
Android.
device or other device or whatever it translated to in English.
Or it'll say device not found. Well, here's what's going on, folks. You have to hard close the Blue Dot app. She probably has the Blue Dot app open at the same time as the Pink Dot app, and that scan function won't happen. Won't work. You can't have it open. Try it. Let me know if that's what's going on in the background, by the way, because it won't let both apps have the same device. It won't let both apps have any devices at the same time.
Yeah. I would do what Ken said, hard close the app, make sure both are closed, open up the Pink Dot app and type the number in manually, and make sure that be really careful when you're typing it in, because we have also had the situation where those numbers are really small on the back of the Healy. And sometimes if you can't necessarily tell great if it's the number 8 or if it's a B, or we have had people where they've been typing the number in wrong over and over again, thinking that it's not working or not accepting it. And they were actually typing in one wrong number or letter across the way there. So just be real careful with that and try it again and see if that works.
Another suggestion that we found helpful for some folks that were having challenges with their cameras on specific phones was to actually take a picture of the back of the Healy. Now you can pinch it open, and then as you were mentioning, Jake, now they can clearly see, the numbers and the letters, and then type it in correctly.
Are you saying our camera's better than our own eyeballs? What?
only if you're not trying to read micro numbers and letters. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's true. I do the same thing. I take a picture of something and I blow it up, and so I can see the details of it, because our phones are like, 12 megapixel cameras. I mean, they're crazy. If you took a picture, just take a snapshot of your fuzzy bunny And then if you were to blow it up into real time in the pixels, and you would have the size of probably your living room wall. That picture is huge. And so it's a lot of memory, but it's huge. And so it takes up a lot of memory on your smart device. Every time you take a picture, you take oops, I took a picture of my thumb. Oh, well, you keep going, you got like 25 pictures of your thumb. That's a lot of memory. We're looking at about, 2 meg per picture, and it consumes a lot of memory. So
the storage space around the world would be cut in half if people went through and deleted photos that were mistakes or errors or blurry. Or whatever, so.
Yeah, delete them.
Yeah.
And then go into your delete files and clear them out of there because they still stay there. Yeah. They still stay there.
All right. What else we got here?
The Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max doesn't work with the scan. We know.
Yeah.
We know. Sorry. We know. And so you have to type in the numbers in that serial number field. That's still.
I mean, the good thing about that, in the Pink Dot app is typically you don't have to type it in again unless you did some sort of hard reset or install the app on a new device, something like that. Because I can't remember the last time I had to scan or type in my serial number on my Pink Dot app. So
absolutely. So, and we what is it? We started out our call today a little bit different, right, than our typical for beginners and beyond. And I've seen some new faces in here, and I just wanted to mention, if you're first time here, definitely welcome. Come back, bring more. But if you have any questions about your initial unboxing, getting your Healy charge, getting the apps onto your smart device, just type in here before we leave today. Type in the chat so that we can share that with you right now before we go today.
Yeah, we were talking about all those recordings, and the cool thing about the For Beginners and Beyond call is that that unboxing process, showing the hardware, all that kind of stuff is in each one of those calls. And then there's an expansion on maybe a specific topic within a specific call. So each one of them have value. And if you already know the unboxing part, you again click on the little hyperlink at the bottom to starts the content that you may really want to get into.
Yeah, just think in a couple months we'll be able to do an unboxing on the MagHealy. Yeah, now that'll be cool.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, here we have.
Oh, so there was a question. I'm a beginner and would love unboxing help. So Lisa, that YouTube page that we have, HealyAmericas.com, go to that page. Go to the playlist, and then all of the recent Healy for Beginners and Beyond are recorded there. And you can scroll through each of them, see which topics you need help with or that interest you, and you can watch either the whole episode or just specific parts of those. So that is the spot to go to when you're just starting. Then also there's some welcome sort of getting started videos on the Healy Academy at academy.healy.world. So if you're brand new, those would be the first 2 spots I would go to kind of get started and check out some of those videos.
Perfect suggestions.
Let's see. We had well, thank you, by the way, those of you for the compliments and finding use and value. Thank you. Appreciate that. That always, means a lot to me when I see compliments and someone successfully using the advice and fixing things. Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. I ditto that. It's a word from the past, ditto, right?
Yeah, it is. So again, see, I want to find intro Healy videos. So that's again on the Academy or the YouTube pages. Like for instance, I love this, finding intro videos. What is it? What is Healy? How does it function? All those kind of things. Some of those are a sorting process of your own, like what do you want to show someone? There's content that is hours long, or there's short content too. So sorting some of that stuff, but all you would need is the resources. So the Vimeo channel, the YouTube channel, those are great resources to go and start sorting. You'll have to watch them.
Hey, Ken, there's a question here about Telegram. I don't know if you can help. This person, SK, has tried many times to connect to the Telegram group without success. Say, please provide the correct address. I'm wondering if maybe they're trying to join not the Team Healy USA group, but a different Healy group that's maybe like a private group or something like that, or because the one that we have is open.
It's open. It's open,
Yeah.
but if there's some, I'm going to paste here. There is the Telegram link right there. I just put in the group or in the chat. But if there's some rules, so right here, their name is being displayed as SK. We have to have your name. If your Telegram profile is letters or numbers or a handle of some sort, you won't be allowed in. So if it's a privacy thing within yourself, I'm sorry. We've just had we're trying to protect everybody. We have over 8,000 people in that group, and our job as facilitators and moderators is to protect everyone. And we get a lot of attempts for scammers. And so we have to have identification. So that's the number one thing. Number two, if you've been in there before as a handle or just letters and being kicked out, then you're banned. And so the only way to get you in there is for one of the facilitators to do it. So we would have to work in that regard. So I just put the link up there. Give that a shot if you're actually going to the right group. And if it's still, you're not able to get in there, then you'll need to connect with one of us and see what's going on. There's some rules around that group. It's for the US because we put US stuff in there. And of course, we've got people from all over the world in there because they have teams in the US. And that's great because they're gaining content and knowledge as to what the US is doing. And I'm going to tell you folks, the US is unique. We're doing things above and beyond what even corporate, I think, was expecting. And we're building tools. We're creating systems and teams that are writing the rules, and that's the model for the rest of the world. So be proud of what we're doing. I mean, I'm totally proud of what we're doing. And our corporate team, Jake, Freddie, we got Freddie in our support structure. We got Adriana, we got Luciano. Luciano just got promoted to a worldwide position. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Right? Chief of the operations of global, right?
Chief Commercial Officer.
Chief commercial. So all of the commercial aspects globally, he's going to have his hands in that and being, because he's a talented man. And I'm very, very grateful to have him, here as a US based teammate. So we're setting the bar and we're setting it high and we're doing it quick, but we want to make sure we protect what we have, and we have to do it through compliance. And if people are constantly hounding our members for other opportunities or whatever, that's not compliant. And so we have to do our job to keep people out of there. Thank you.
Thank you for there was a comment here that the first video in the Academy isn't available. So there is one video here, the Welcome to Healy World. Looks like there's some sort of display issue or privacy issue with that one right now. But to keep in mind, the Healy Academy is actually a couple months from now. I don't think anyone's gonna recognize it because there's so many new things planned, new content, new videos, new sections, not just related to the apps, but the business itself as well. So there's a ton of things planned, and this year there's just so many new things coming. The rest of this year, it's really amazing.
Just by the end of second quarter. I mean, we're going to see. Gonna see, and you see it in the back office. Have you been in your back office this week? I mean, the new widgets, the new monitoring systems, the things that we've been asking for are happening. And so the software, by the way, the back office has an immense capability. It's just building them within the corporate structure. The platforms building them has taken time. And then you have to test them, make sure they report properly, right? And when they don't, you take them back out, you fix them, like that video. The video that's in the Academy, it's an old video, right? It's old. It was designed for a global market, but it's old, and
And when you
I
start
have-
talking about global on top of it, right? A lot of these functions may have originated with ideals here out of the US, but I'm sure that they, like you said, the testing, it has to be tested on a global basis in some cases, and their systems that they work under and with are different than the ones that are here. So yeah, it's a lot of time and effort that has to be executed to get these in a position where they can be used by Healy worldwide. Not always just here, Healy US.
I want to give kudos to the compliance, as well as frustration. No, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse. Compliance, we need them, and they're amazing in what they do because they protect us and protect our opportunity. But I also want to encourage everyone else out there too. As Jake mentioned earlier, when we're talking about diagnosing, preventing, and treating, that's not something that's really compliant when we're talking about the abilities of Healy. We can talk about that amongst ourselves, but and be so grateful for the effects and the alignments that we've achieved with using this hardware and this software. But we really want to work hard on being compliant. There has been markets out there temporarily shut down because of incompliant actions, and we don't want that. The U.S. is setting the bar. We are setting the bar for quality, honor, integrity, so that we can build trust. I mean, many of you guys, any of you that are old timers, have had some things that maybe have challenged your trust. We are building that back up. And I say we because I feel like I'm part of the family. So, and we're going to make some announcements on what that means next week too, in terms of how we're creating a better voice with the field and the corporate structure in the different hubs, and being able to unify that. So just protect our opportunity with your efforts and the way that you communicate. Yes, Healy is an amazing device. Yes, it's new technology. Yes, I think it's still not even totally understood. But we're building tools all the time to make sure that we can understand it better and better. Right.
Well, we're right at that 1 hour mark. There was a question. It's a short answer, but any estimate on the timeline for MagHealy? And it's still a few months away from definitely being available for sale. There's manufacturing anything in today's environment is tricky, especially when it involves microchips and things that have to be sourced. So that's something that is currently all being secured, and we actually have secured enough for the initial production run, but we will definitely keep everyone updated as we kind of get a more firm timeline on that. But
I want to plant a seed, right? I mean, there's a lot of benefit in what MagHealy is going to do, and I want to plant a seed right now, and everyone is to, like Jake said, there's a limited run. Limited run means get in early. So I'm going to plant that seed, everyone. Get in early, get with your teams, and when that launch, when that buy now function comes on, be ready, because it's going to go fast.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. This recording will be made available, as we mentioned earlier, on our YouTube page, HealyAmericas.com. And join us. I'm actually not going to be able to join Tech Tip Tuesday next week because I won't be in the country. But Ken, you're going to have Tech Tip Tuesday next week, right? Or back as usual time?
Yeah, back at the usual time next week. I looked back at the history of Tech Tip Tuesday, and there was this week was only the second time that I had to take a break, but then we were able to kind of combine it here on Thursday. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to technically.
No, it doesn't count as a week off.
So if I can say that, since over a year that we've only maybe missed one, then I'm not bad with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see you guys on Tuesday. We'll see you next week on Tuesday for sure.
And make sure you join us on Wednesday also with Nuno Nina. So
yep, next week, everybody.
Perfect.
Yep.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone.